Now, are you getting young people coming to American Idiot thinking that Billie Joe Armstrong is in it?
You know, we haven't.
You haven't?
I think maybe a little in Berkeley early on.
You don't get a sense of kids thinking that this is a concert?
No, we haven't had that, which is fortunate since they would be really disappointed.
I want to move back a little bit to how you structured it. You made the decision between you not to have lines, only to use the lyrics
sung through.
Of the song had to be sung through, which I think ultimately turned out to be a very brilliant decision. But how did that work?
It was very tricky. I set myself up for a very difficult assignment. I knew that I wasn't going to interrupt the order of the record. That was absolutely a given for myself. And when Billie made certain other material available to me, as the characters started to take on their own dimensions and requirements, I found a couple B-sides from the American Idiot European release, which is Favorite Son and Too Much Too Soon. And then on one of the special packaging of the CD here, there were these really amazing journal entries that Billie wrote to accompany the CD, and I saw those, and I was like, oh my God, this stuff is great. I can use this interstitially in just little shards to just help place us where we are, and to just help organize the journey of these characters from song to song. And then, when they were recording their spectacular record, 21st Century Breakdown, he started sending me MP3s of the songs as they were doing the demos, and they were just blowing my mind. And I kept thinking, God, this would be great for Tunny. This would be a great thing. I'm thinking, this would be great. So it started taking on.
And so you let him use the new songs in the musical that you were writing for the other album?
Yeah, I had a bunch of demos, and then because he was just looking to try to fill certain gaps and to tell a story. So I sent him, I think I sent him like 10 songs or something like that, and he did a little song shopping.
Yeah,
you know,
I was greedy.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Pillaging the catalog. Pillaging the catalog. Now, having gone through this experience of working on a musical, do you have any musical based on songs that you had written for the concept album? Do you have any desire to write a musical, an original musical from scratch, where all the songs are written specifically for a Broadway show?
Sure, that'd be great. You know, I mean, you need a good story first. You know, I mean, I'd love to work with. If he ever had an idea, I'd love to work with Michael again with something. And you know, but yeah, it's definitely there's a certain, you know, like I said, I'm new to all of this. It's like this, so this energy that people have, and the, you know, and even the other plays that are being put on right now. It's like it's very infectious to me to be around all these creative people, you know, constantly. And you know, it's like a drug. It's like you can't get enough of it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what's the most enjoyable thing you've discovered about Broadway as a newcomer?
I just think just the people that are all the people that are involved. You know, it's Michael or Tom Kitt or Gallagher and Rebecca, Theo. You know, I mean, all the people that are in the cast, and how we just, you know, we've kind of opened our door to them, and they've opened their doors to us. So we've just been having a great time together.
Anything about Broadway you're ambivalent to, though? Have you shown him sort of the darker side of this business at all, Michael?
No, I've kept that hidden because I really want him to write that other show.
He's a very shrewd guy.
What kind of kid were you before you became a rock star? You know, before you started, as you became a poet, essentially, what kind of kid were you?
You know, pretty daydreamy. You know, a little lost, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've been involved in music since I was 4 and a half.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of how I got into music to begin with, because I was doing this. I had this vocal teacher, and she taught me all these sort of classic Broadway and standards and things like that, and in which I never really said anything to anybody about, you know. And then I started getting into punk rock scene in Berkeley around when I was 14, And so I just, you know, and I've known Mike, our bass player, since I was 10, and
Wow.
we've been in a band together pretty much since we met. So the kind of kid I was, I don't know, I mean, kind of thrill seeker a little bit, you know, but
Were you angry?
Dr. Freud over here.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think kind of lost, you know, but and angry too. You know, I just think in terms of, you know, just like coming from a bit of a broken home, and you know, and I think that's the one thing that punk, you know, being in the punk scene really allowed me to have, is like something where I could channel that energy into something to try to, you know, make more sense of life. You know, using anger and that feeling of being lost and channel it into songs.
This description of a childhood sounds like if you'd like heard Gypsy when you were a kid, you could have become a show queen rather than a punk rocker.
He could have.
Very close, these two sorts of things.
He does a mean version of Together Wherever We Go. Just so you know.
Do you really? What's your favorite of the classic Broadway songs? The standard catalog that we all know by heart.
Oh God, I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite. You know, there's certain things like ever since talking to Michael, there's been jogging my memory. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't thought about in the past, and you know, I did like the Al Jolson medley. You know, California, Here I Come to Rockabye Baby.
Oh yeah.
And I did you know, songs from Oliver. You know, like Where Is Love, and I did Kids from Bye Bye Birdie, and Gypsy.
I'm telling you, scratch a rock star, find a show queen.
It's true. It's really, I could see a Green Day cover album of the great hits of Broadway's golden age.
Yeah.
You could be doing it. Be fascinating. So, well, listen, American Idiot is a new addition to the classic American musical theater. It is at the St. James Theater now, directed brilliantly by Michael Mayer, and written by a newcomer to the scene, Billie Joe Armstrong. Thanks for being our guest tonight on Theater Talk.
Thank you very much.
And good luck with the show.
Thanks a lot.
Our thanks to the Friends of Theater Talk for their significant contribution to this production. Theater Talk is made possible in part by the Frederick Lowe Foundation, the Eleanor Naylor Dana Charitable Trust, the Alan S. Gordon Foundation, the Corey and Bob Dinelli Charitable Fund, Terry J. Fries, the Dorothy Strelson Foundation, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, and the New York State Council on the Arts, a state agency.
We welcome your questions or comments for Theater Talk. Thank you and good night.